California has been ordered to release thousands from the state prisons. In our numbers crunchers, it kind of tells the tale. Throughout the state, 33,000 prisoners will be realigned, that's the word they're using, paroled or moved to local jails because of overcrowding at the state level. And for the estimated 8,000 or so headed to Los Angeles, we're told not one dime has been appropriated to take care of them, at least in the city. It gets worse, by the way. 150 LAPD cops will be taken off their beats to supervise those prisoners, turning LAPD police officers into parole officers. A lot of people find this outrageous.
They could have phased and staged realignment instead of just one big massive dump on our local communities. It's a hastily conceived public safety disaster. Unrehabilitated inmates and parolees are going to be in our communities. Many with dangerous, serious, and violent histories are going to be in the class, this graduating class of the University of Realignment, as I call it, because they only consider the immediate commitment offense and not their prior history, which is extraordinarily important in predicting future criminal behavior. It's a disaster.
All right, that was Assemblyman Jim Nielsen, the former head of California's Board of Prisons. For more on the realignment, we want to go to our Studio 11 investigative producer, Heidi Cuda. She's been putting some of these numbers together. And Heidi, admittedly, these numbers are kind of confusing because we talk about the state, the county, the city. So what's your take on this? Was Assemblyman Nielsen just trying to scare everybody because he disagrees with Jerry Brown? Or do his numbers add up?
No, I don't think so, because even Brown said that essentially by doing this, it would save the state $2 billion and it would kind of put the expense and the brunt of it on the various communities. And I think that is a key issue, the finances. That's why you've had the mayor running around saying, we don't have the resources to deal with it, and nobody wants to see 150 cops taken off the beat. But a key problem is if you are actually in the system right now and you're facing a charge, they're not going to be sending you if you deserve to go to state prison. They're saying they're going to be sending them to county. So it's
only
actually
if you're nonviolent, though, right?
Yes. Here's an issue. They're saying it's nonviolent offenders, but our own investigation has already shown that we're actually talking about people who do have a history, in many cases, of violence, and sometimes those violent acts will be pled down to misdemeanors. So, there's a number of things going on here, and if we had just looked at different ways to solve it, one of them would have been taking a harder look at privatization of prisons, a harder look at sending prisoners out of state, but instead they're just being dumped into the communities, and that really is the crux of the issue.
Well, and now according to, and I know this is where the confusing part comes in, Heidi, but according to the Sheriff's Department, it's not so much prisoners being dumped back, it's our prisoners that would have gone to state jails not being sent there. Does that wash with your investigation? You
know what? You're going to hear different stories every which way but loose, but the fact is that all those beds they say they have on the county level, they're going to need, because right now, the way it is already, we are releasing inmates way too soon. An insider at the LAPD says rather than looking at 30 months in county, they're pushing him out at 3.5. And so every which way you look at this, you've got a dangerous situation.
All right. Heidi Cuda, thanks very much for at least opening the discussion, and it is a long discussion ahead, without a doubt.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, coming up next.